Joel Embiid was playing at an MVP caliber level last season before missing a good chunk of time due to various injuries. The result of that missed time was that Denver Nuggets center Nikola Jokic came down with the MVP award instead. This year, Embiid is playing at a whole nother level, and it really seems like he's putting all the pieces together in his overall game. So, in today's video, we're going to talk about the many reasons why Joel Embiid is so scary good, starting off with his improved sense of physicality. Throughout stretches of this season and last, Embiid kind of fell in love with his jump shot. While we are going to cover his shooting later on in the video, he's not the most efficient shooter. Embiid still puts up strong numbers, but it's clear that when he uses his size down in the paint, he's far more effective.
13 for the Sixers. Seth, bounce pass. Joel doesn't want the three. He'll take it back down.
Since December 1st of this season, Embiid is averaging 29.6 points, 11.1 rebounds, and 4.5 assists per game for the team. The Philadelphia 76ers head coach Doc Rivers attributes his strong play to his physicality. He said, "Joel is mixing it up. I think the biggest change, he went through a stretch where he was taking a lot of jump shots and not a lot of power. I think he's establishing that he's the biggest and baddest on the floor early. That sets up everything else."
Nice step through.
Great footwork. Joel assisting his own dunk.
Rivers does seem to be keen on Embiid's improved level of play, and it's hard not to agree with him. When you have somebody that strong down low, opposing teams are forced to send extra help to avoid watching him just score. This, of course, opens the door for teammates to be left alone when defenders make mistakes on their rotation. And speaking of passing it out to open teammates, that's something that Embiid is drastically improving this season. We all know how dangerous Jokic is at passing the ball, but Embiid is slowly starting to take those next steps to improve that area of his game too, and he's becoming scarier when the ball is in his hands.
He's going to have to get the better of it first. Joel having the respect of the officials.
Oh my goodness!
One of the biggest reasons for his drastic passing improvement is his level of comfort when he gets double-teamed. In the past, we saw him sometimes panic and get a ball tipped away or intercepted. That's not happening at all this year. When he sees a double team coming, he remains patient and scans the court for the open player. When he finds him, he dishes out a beautiful pass and gets awarded with an easy assist. In an earlier interview, his teammate Danny Green spoke about his overall improvement, particularly against those double teams. He said, "He's figuring out the double teams, trusting and passing out of it, but also figuring out how to repost, get deeper seals, and make it harder for them to double team by making quick moves and catching the ball deep in the paint, so it's a long run." These are all attributes that make him ridiculously harder to defend than he already was. The next reason that Joel is so terrifying with the ball is because he can actually dribble out of almost every situation.
Leans in on Green. Embiid, a ball fake. Embiid spins to the rim. Pump fake. Embiid!
While we tend to think that big men aren't the best ball handlers, Embiid is statistically the most efficient scorer at his position when dribbling the basketball. That's right, this season Embiid has been the best scoring center when putting the ball on the deck. Other centers just aren't as quick as Embiid when isolated. Joel has routinely realized this and often takes slower big men into one-on-one situations to confuse them with his handles. This is usually when he whips out one of those jump shots that he gets to fall quite often. His improved dribbling also helps him when he's passing the basketball. If teams have to worry about him putting the ball on the floor and driving into the lane, they've got to send even more help. And this often leads to confusion defensively and almost always ends with open players somewhere on the court.
Or Dr. J's hands.
Oh boy. Embiid, only 3 to shoot. Got it done.
Now we're going to talk about his shooting. We talked about him taking jump shots pretty often the last few years, and that's definitely true. However, we didn't say that he's surprisingly efficient for a big man. He had a rough start to this season, though, shooting a measly 41.2% from the floor and 32.1% from behind the arc in his first 8 games. However, since that point, Joel is shooting 51.5% from the field and 39.3% from deep.
Take over in fourth quarter, and that's what Kevin Durant has done in previous games. So Harden, oh, Joel with a bank shot.
Tobias Harris mentioned that his groove is just so much better these past few weeks, and it's resulting in strong jump shooting and overall better play. Harris said, "It was just a rhythm thing, I think, for him early on. He's just able to pick his defense apart, kicking the ball out, us looking for him, and getting the ball to him to his spot. He makes tough shots as well, so I think obviously early on in the year, there's a lot of shots that he knew that he can make that didn't fall, but now he's in a really good groove for sure."
Joel, the step back three, and Joel hits it!
Now, it's pretty safe to say that Embiid can probably shoot over anybody now and splash a jump shot right in their face. So, if you want to avoid having Joel take a deep three in your face, make sure you smash our subscribe button, because I heard he was only shooting over people who aren't subscribed to the channel. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that button right now before we move on to the next attribute. All right, we've got to talk about Embiid's defensive ability. While many just prefer to watch the offensive portion of his game, his defensive attributes are just as scary. I know I certainly wouldn't want to be driving into the lane with him standing there waiting for me. Some analysts have started to look deeper into this area of his game, and they've defined it as gladiatorial.
Robinson goes to a two and met by Embiid, who's done it all tonight.
One of the reasons for his strong defensive presence is his basketball IQ. Embiid knows exactly when to make defensive adjustments on the fly during a game and never misses a switch or a rotation. Plus, opposing teams can't even single him out and get him isolated against a smaller guard. The 7-footer is actually incredibly talented when he takes on guards on isolation plays, which makes him that much scarier on the defensive end.
Embiid lost the handle, run out for Harden. Curry's got to take a foul.
According to Cleaning the Glass, opposing teams shoot the basketball 7.7% worse when Joel Embiid is on the court for his team compared to when he's not on the court. On top of that, the difference in points per 100 possessions with him on the court versus off is nearly 7 full points. Let's put that statistic into a little bit better perspective. The team is a top 5 unit in the league defensively and offensively when Embiid is out on the floor. When he goes onto the bench, the group drops all the way down to the middle of the pack. Joel also excels against opposing centers when they try to score on him. There are very few players in the league at his position who can body him out of the way, which takes a large portion of their offensive game away.
Missed his last four. Anunoby meeting up with Embiid. Good extra pass, and Joel somehow blocking the shot of Baines.
Joel is also fast, as we talked about earlier, a feature that helps him smother opposing centers who like to step outside, like Anthony Davis or Karl Anthony Towns. Every team in the league strives to have a glass-cleaning, rim-protecting center like Embiid on their roster, and luckily for the 76ers, they got that dude.
Devontae, underhand flip, P.J. Washington missed the layup, got it back, blocked away by Embiid.
Finally, we're going to talk about his dietary improvements. If you want to know a major reason that Embiid has become so scary talented, his better eating habits are a big reason why. Embiid admitted a few years ago that he used to have an atrocious diet. One report says that he used to just eat junk food all the time and eat full meals that just consisted of things like brownies, chicken fingers, and hot dogs. Sounds pretty good to me, but maybe not for a professional athlete. He also didn't drink healthy stuff either, downing pitchers of Shirley Temples. It got so bad that even the 76ers training staff were genuinely concerned for his eating and started to stock his refrigerator with only healthy food. He ended up losing a lot of weight the past few seasons and has since become a much better player because of that change. He's now quicker and he feels stronger, and I think it's clear that his stats are backing that up. So there you have it. These are just a few of the reasons as to why Joel Embiid is just so scary good at basketball. If you enjoyed our video, make sure to click one of the two that appear on your screen. We picked the one on the left for you, and YouTube picked the one on the right.